stayed in a relationship, not out of love, but out of fear. The fear that if you let go, you'd be left with silence, emptiness, and no one to come home to. That was Jenny's truth. A woman caught between the chaos of company and the terrifying stillness of solitude. But what if being alone wasn't the problem, but the path to something more powerful? This is her story. Jenny's apartment overlooked the heart of the city. Bright lights, endless noise, and a rhythm that never seemed to sleep. From the outside, her life looked full. A stable job at a PR firm, weekend brunches with friends, and a long-term boyfriend, Cedric, who everyone thought she'd marry. But beneath it all, it was a quiet panic she didn't dare speak aloud. Cedric wasn't cruel. He wasn't abusive, but he also wasn't present. Conversations were surface level. Affection felt like a routine. And when Jenny tried to open up about her dreams or fears, his eyes glazed over her like he was waiting for her to stop talking. Still, she stayed. Not because she was happy, but because the idea of being single again at 35 felt like stepping off a cliff with no parachute. Every time her best friend Christina gently asked, "Are you really happy?" Jenny gave the same answer. "I'm not unhappy." But unhappy had started to feel like a slow kind of drowning. The turning point came during a rainy Tuesday commute. Jenny was scrolling through her phone, halfway listening to Cedric complain over the phone about something minor. His barista getting his coffee order wrong. Then, for a split second, she imagined her life 5 years from now. The same conversations, the same hollow dinners, the same fear to speak up in case it made him uncomfortable. And something inside her whispered, "You can't do this forever." That voice stuck with her all day. She thought about it while working on a marketing pitch. She heard it again while riding the elevator to her apartment. And that night, as Cedric sat on the couch, laughing at something on TV and not noticing her tear-streaked face, it got louder. It's not that you don't love him. It's that you've forgotten how to love yourself. 2 weeks later, Jenny ended it. There was no screaming matches, no accusations, just a quiet, "I think we're both pretending." And Cedric, surprisingly, agreed. That night, the apartment felt like it was swallowing her whole. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was deafening. She opened Spotify just to fill the space. She called Christina just to hear a human voice. She cried into her pillow and woke up feeling like she'd made a mistake. But she didn't go back. Instead, Jenny started doing something she hadn't done in years. She sat with herself. Really sat. In silence. Without distractions. Without another person defining her worth. She journaled. She started therapy. She even took herself out to dinner, fighting the awkwardness of sitting alone while couples filled the restaurant. And slowly, she realized something. She didn't miss Cedric. She missed the illusion of safety. But safety isn't the same as love. Weeks passed. The initial sting of the breakup began to fade. But a new kind of ache settled in. Loneliness. It wasn't about missing Cedric. It was about facing the empty spaces in her life. Jenny found herself wandering through bookstores, hoping for connection in the pages. Joined a yoga class, not for fitness, but for presence, for something to anchor her. That's where she met Tammy. Tammy was a kind of woman who carried herself like she'd been through storms and learned to dance in the rain. They struck up a conversation one day after class, and Jenny found herself sharing more in that hour than she had in months. Tammy said something Jenny would never forget. Being alone doesn't mean you're incomplete. It means you're in the process of becoming whole without needing someone to hold you together. Those words cracked something open in Jenny. Jenny took Tammy's advice to heart. She stopped trying to fill the loneliness and started trying to understand it. Where did it come from? It wasn't just about Cedric. It was deeper. Her fear of being alone traced back to childhood. Growing up in a household where emotions were hidden and silence meant you were invisible. She'd learned to attach herself to people quickly, to feel seen, to feel needed. But now, she was learning to be enough without performing for someone else's approval. She created rituals, mornings with coffee and sunlight, evenings with music and candles. She turned her solitude into sacred space. And slowly, loneliness transformed into something else. Peace. Then came Glenn. A new project at work brought them together. A joint campaign between her PR firm and a local community center. Glenn was a creative director with a calm energy and a contagious laugh. He didn't push. He didn't play games. And Jenny, she didn't chase. She didn't shrink herself. They started talking over lunch breaks, then weekend coffees, then long walks through the city. For the first time, she wasn't rushing into anything. She wasn't looking for validation. She was just sharing herself piece by piece. One afternoon, Glenn asked, "How come someone like you isn't seeing anyone?" Jenny smiled. "Because I had to learn how to see myself first." Months passed. Jenny's apartment was still hers alone, but it no longer felt empty. It felt alive. She still spent time with Glenn, but their connection was rooted in respect, not dependency. Christina noticed the change in her too. "You seem lighter," she said one night over dinner. Jenny nodded. "I stopped being afraid of being alone, and that changed everything." She wasn't the same woman who stayed silent to keep a relationship. She wasn't the woman who clung to routine out of fear. She had faced the silence, sat in the discomfort, and come out on the other side stronger, softer, and whole. You don't truly fear being alone. You fear what you might find in the silence. But sometimes in that silence, you discover your truest self. Together, let's move from doubt to power, one story at a time.